Hello and welcome to our lesson on tenses. This will be introductory to tenses, and we're going to discuss all the three types of tenses that are there, along with a few examples, learn to know when to use them. So, when people speak of tenses, what people actually do is they speak of time, that is, at what time something happened or will happen or is happening, like that. So, while speaking or while doing anything literally in the English language, you need to know the first thing, that is, what is the point of reference? Now, the point of reference is the timeline that we are referring to. For instance, if you are referring whenever you are giving the speech, that is the current point of reference. Or if you're writing something, then when your event is happening, that is the current point of reference. And this is the thing that you must always keep in mind, that is, your tenses should always at all points of time adhere, that is, stick to this point of reference and must never change under any given conditions. So the first tense that we have is the present tense, that is any action that is going on now, or a continuing action, or a universal truth. Now, what are these things basically? That is, anything that is happening now, it's like in continuity, you can see that it's going on, so that is in the present. Or anything that happens every day without change, like the sun rises in the east, or the earth is round, or maybe a train is faster than a man. In these cases, this is always true, and these are known as universal truths. So the present tense has four parts as usual. The first part is the simple present. Now, this is used usually for habits like I eat, I sleep, or for universal truth, like I said, like the sun rises in the east. Now, the present continuous tense is used for an action that is going on now, like I am eating, or he is sleeping, like that. Something that you can see is going on. The third type of tense is the present perfect. Now, the perfect tense is usually used with an auxiliary or a helping verb like has or have. This is when it's present. If it's the past, then it's always had, and usually for the future, it's always have. So it denotes possession, like I have a pen or I have an apple, like that famous song goes. Anyway, so that's all about your present perfect, and the present perfect continuous is used as a mixture of both the perfect and the continuous tenses. So, for instance, it has been raining all day, or she has been cycling since morning. So in these cases, you see that it is an action that is continuing, also has some sort of possession qualities to it. So this is where we use the present perfect continuous tense. So that was all about the present tenses, and of course, the next tense that we have on our list is the past tense. So, any event that has happened before the point of reference. So if you're giving a speech, then usually most of our speeches are get delivered in the past tense, because when we are giving examples of something, then that has happened before. That's why we know about it, right? So, which is why the past tense is mostly the most used tense while delivering a speech or orating on narrating something. And also, the past tense has the same four parts. You have the simple past, which is used to refer to the simple present in the past tense. That is, for instance, I ate. The past continuous refers to an event that, like had been continuing for some time before the point of reference. So, for instance, I was running. So this means that suppose in the morning you were running, then what you say is that when you're giving the speech, that has already happened. It's over. So it's in a point past to the point of reference. So it's used to refer to some event that have been continuing for some time in a previous point of reference. So you see, I was running. Now, moving on, you have the past perfect, and this is one of the most trickiest sentences ever, the past perfect tense. A quick way to remember this is to call the tense the before tense. I don't know if I had already said this in my introduction to public speaking video. So the before tense, what it actually does is that suppose when you have a past tense and you have a second past tense to that one. So if you're saying, when I reached the station, the train had left, or when I came to my table, the food had already been finished. So it's like that when you have a certain point of reference and there's an event prior to it, before it, and there's another event prior to the prior event, then that event, that is the second event, it becomes the past perfect. Now, the past perfect continuous, much like its colleague, the present perfect continuous, this also refers to something that uses both the auxiliary verb and the ing form of the verb, the continuous verb. For instance, it had been raining all day yesterday, or she has been singing, or she had been singing for 2 hours yesterday. So it's like that when it was in continuity at a previous point of time with hints of possession, the auxiliary verb, and more. Now, the last tense that we have on our list is the future tense. It is used to denote an event that will occur later with reference to the point of reference. That is, if you are giving a speech now and I say that at night it will rain today, or tomorrow there shall be no sun, then these events are in the future tense, and also after the past, the future is probably the most used tense. Moving on, you have the simple future tense, which again just tries to say in the future form the simple present, like I will eat or I will sleep later today. The future continuous is an event that is basically going on now and will take continuity after some time. For instance, I will be studying for 2 hours at 8:30 p.m. I highlighted that twice so that you understand that this means I am studying now. But when it reaches 8:30, it will be 2 hours then. So this is a very tricky tense, again like the past perfect. But of course, with proper practice and everything, you can get it correct. The next thing is the future perfect, which is used with the auxiliary verb have. I will have done this by tomorrow. I will have done the lesson on voice by tomorrow. For instance, actually, the lesson on voice will be coming your way tomorrow. So that is how you use the future perfect tense when you are sure that you will be doing something at a given point of time, then you say you will have done that by then. And the future perfect continuous, like its colleagues and like the other forms, it is also used with the word have and a continuous event for the future. So it will have been raining for 2 hours in 1 more hour. So that means that it has been already raining for an hour. In 1 more hour, it will have been raining for 2 hours. So, will have been. Remember that the continuous tense, the perfect continuous tense, is usually has the word been. That is the word I'm trying to write it down. It's B E E and N. So the word been is usually used in the future, usually perfect continuous tense. So see, these are the four forms of tenses. We would really recommend using a book called Total English to practice them. They have really wonderful speeches, small paragraph stories where they ask you to fill in the tense. It's all very good for practice. Also, what you need to know is that with the end of this lesson, you need to have a very good grip on tenses. That is something that most people don't have. A few tricks and tips to remember is to know that if there is a second past and turn it into the perfect. Then usually if we start our speech in one tense, then general rule suggests that unless we have to speak about a universal truth or an event in the future, we stick to that tense, and that is usually preferred to be the past tense. So that was all about tenses. We hope you enjoyed the lesson, and please ask your questions in the comments. Also, Total English is a great book. If you don't get that, then you can use, obviously, Red and Martin books are there. Otherwise, you can also find thousands of online places to practice. What I recommended is that you don't practice them sentence wise, and you take up paragraphs and practice them. That way you can get an idea of the correct tense during your speech. So that will be all. Thank you.